Hello dear students, myself CMA Padmaja Buzruk. I will discuss auditing. Go to study note number 7, provision relating to audit under Companies Act. I will discuss audit of inventories. Auditing and assurance standard relating to audit of inventories. Inventories are tangible property held for sale in the ordinary course of business. This is nothing but inventory of finished goods or in the process of production for such sale. This is nothing but inventory of raw material or work in progress or for consumption in the production of goods or services for sale. This includes maintenance supplies and consumable stores and spare parts meant for replacement in normal course. Inventories normally comprise raw material including components, work in process, finished goods including byproducts, maintenance, supplies, stores and spare parts, and loose tools. Inventories normally constitute a significant portion of total assets, particularly in case of manufacturing and trading entities, as well as some service rendering entities. Audit of inventories therefore assumes special importance. As inventories constitute a significant major portion of total assets, it is necessary to carry out audit of inventories. Inventories include raw material, work in progress, finished goods, byproducts, maintenance supplies, stores and spare parts, loose tools, and consumable stores. The following features of inventories have an impact on the related audit procedures. So, important features of inventories are inventories normally turn over rapidly, that is, they get converted into cash very fast, or they change their forms, like raw material gets turned into work in progress into finished goods, and finished goods, when they are sold, it results into either debtors or cash. So, inventories turn over very rapidly. Inventories are susceptible to obsolescence and spoilage. Further, some of the items of inventory may be slow moving while others may follow seasonal pattern of movement. So inventories may be fast moving, slow moving, non moving. Some of the inventories are seasonal in nature and some inventories get spoiled very fast. Inventories are normally movable in nature, although there may be some instances of immovable inventories also, for example, in case of an entity dealing in real estate. So, in case of entities dealing in real estate, a building can be inventory. So, this is immovable inventory. All the items of inventory may not be located at one place but may be held at different locations such as factories, warehouses, or with third parties such as selling agents. We'll see some more features of inventories. The individual item of inventory may not be significant in value, but taken together they normally constitute a significant proportion of total assets and current assets of manufacturing, trading, and certain service entities. So even if individual item of inventory does not have significant value, if you add all the inventories together, it constitutes a significant portion of total assets. Physical condition, for example, stage of completion of work in process in certain industries and existence of certain item of inventories may be difficult to determine. Valuation of inventory may involve varying degree of estimation, including expert opinion, for example, in case of jewelry. So for certain peculiar type of inventories, it is difficult to value them and it is required to take expert opinion for valuation of these inventories. It is duty of the auditor to check whether inventories have been properly valued and correctly accounted for. Method of valuation of inventory is consistently followed or not. That is, there should not be change in method of valuation of inventory. It should be followed consistently. That is, same method should be used year after year for valuation of inventory. Various methods are there: FIFO, weighted average, etc. Once the method is selected, the same method should be followed consistently for valuation of inventories. Auditor should check whether proper inventory records are maintained. He should also check whether physical verification of inventory is carried out by management or not. Now we'll see audit of fixed assets. The term property, plant and equipment in relation to those entities which are required to comply with relevant revised accounting standards referred. So as per accounting standard 10, property, plant and equipment refers to such an tangible item that are held for use in production. So tangible items held for use in production is plant and machinery, or supply of goods or services. Supply of goods and services. The tangible item held for supply of goods and services is nothing but vehicles or for rental to others. So plant and machinery, buildings can be rented to others and for administrative purposes. So tangible items held for administrative purposes are air conditioners, fans, etc., and are expected to be used during more than one period. So this is the definition of PPE, that is property, plant and equipment, given by AS10. So any tangible asset held for used in production, supply of goods and services, or for rental to others and for administrative purposes, and if it is expected to be used during more than one period, that is more than 12 months, then and only then it is to be termed as property, plant and equipment as per AS10. An asset can be classified as PPE or otherwise depending upon the use to which it is put or intended to be put. For example, assets which are classified as PPE in one type of business may not be or may be considered as current asset in another. For example, in case of entities of real estate, building will be considered as inventories for those entities, but for others, building will be fixed asset. Similarly, the same asset may be classified differently in an entity at different point of time. The recognition of property, plant and equipment should be done as per the principles laid down in relevant applicable accounting standard. It is the duty of the auditor to check fixed asset register for opening balance of fixed assets, addition of fixed assets during the year, sale of fixed assets during the year, depreciation on fixed assets for current year, as well as accumulated depreciation on fixed assets. So if the auditor checks fixed assets register, he will come to know opening as well as closing balance of fixed assets, whether any assets have been purchased during the year, whether assets have been sold during the year, depreciation for current year as well as accumulated depreciations. In case of sale of asset, the auditor should check the sale deed for sale of asset, and he should check whether the accounting of profit or loss on sale of asset is properly done or not. In case any asset is acquired or purchased during the year, the auditor should check the vouchers. He should vouch, and he should also check the physically assets are present in the organization, that is physical verification should be carried out by the auditor. Now we'll see audit of educational institution. Education institution. Special steps involved in the audit of an educational institution are: examine the trust deed or regulations in case of schools, colleges, and note all the provisions affecting accounts. So it is the duty of the auditor to examine the trust deed and regulations if he is auditing schools and colleges. And he has to note the provisions which affect accounts. In case of university, refer to the Act of Legislature and the regulations framed thereunder. Read through the minutes of meetings of the managing committee or governing body, noting resolutions affecting account to see that these have been duly complied with, especially the decisions as regards the operation of bank accounts and sanctioning of expenditure. So it is the duty of the auditor to go through the minutes of meetings of managing committee and governing body. He has to check the resolutions which affects the account, and he also should see operations of bank account and sanctioning of the expenditure decisions which have taken in the minutes of managing committee. Check names entered in the student's fee register for each month or term with respective class register showing names of students on rolls, and test amount of fee charged and verify that there operates a system of internal check which ensures that demand against the students are properly raised. So it is the duty of the auditor to check fees register. He has to check it with some other registers like class register, students rolls, etc. He should test check the fees charged, collected, and he has to check whether there is proper and adequate internal control system. Check fees received by comparing counterfoils of receipts granted with entries in the cash book and tracing the collection in the fee register to confirm that the revenue from this source has been duly accounted for. So he is supposed to check the fees received with counterfoils of receipts given to the students. He should also check entries in the cash book, as well as he should trace it back with the fee register in order to get the confirmation. Total up the various columns of fees register for each month or term to ascertain that fees paid in advance have been carried forward and arrears that are irrecoverable have been written off under the sanction of appropriate authority. So if any fees are paid in advance, you should check whether proper accounting treatment has been given for the same, whether it has been carried forward. If any fees are irrecoverable, whether they have been written off, and he should check proper sanction of appropriate authority for the same. Check admission fee with admission slip signed by the head of the institution and confirm that the amount had been credited to capital fund unless the managing committee has taken a decision to contrary. So normally admission fees are to be capitalized. So it is duty of the auditor to check whether it has been done or not. But sometimes if the management committee or managing committee has taken decision to show it as a revenue, then it is to be done. But it is duty of the auditor to check this. See that free studentship or concessions have been granted by a person authorized to do so, having regard to the prescribed rules. So concessions and free studentship has been granted only by authorized person as per the rules of the institution, is to be checked by auditor. Confirm that fine for late payment or absence have either been collected or remitted under proper authority. Confirm that hostel dues were recovered before students' accounts were closed and their deposits of caution money refunded. Verify rental income from landed property with rent rolls, etc. Vouch the income from endowments and legacies as well as interest and dividend from investment. Inspect the securities in respect of investments held. So securities in respect of investment held is nothing but if money has been invested in shares, debentures, bonds, etc., it is necessary to inspect these securities. Verify any government or local authority grant with the relevant papers of grant. If any expense has been disallowed for purpose of grant, ascertain the reason and compliance thereof. So educational institutions get grant from local authority, they get grant from government. How it has been accounted for? If any expenses is disallowed for the purpose of grant, it is the duty of the auditor to find out the reasons. Report any old heavy arrears on account of fees, dormitory rents, etc. to the management committee or managing committee. Confirm that caution money and other deposits paid by students on admission have been shown as liability in balance sheet and not transferred to revenue. See that the investment representing endowment fund for prizes are kept separate and any income in excess of prices has been accumulated and invested along with the corpus. So, if the amount has been invested which is kept aside for endowment fund prices and whatever income is received on investment, it is to be distributed as prices, but if excess income is there, it is to be accumulated and invested along with the corpus, that is along with the fund. It is the auditor's duty to check this. Verify that provident fund money of staff has been invested in appropriate securities. Vouch donations, if any, with the list published with annual report. If some donations were meant for any specific purpose, see that the money was utilized for the purpose. If the donation has been received for specific purpose, auditor should check that whether it has been used for the same purpose. Vouch all capital expenditure in the usual way and verify the same with sanction for the committee and contained in minute book. Vouch in the usual manner all establishment expenses and inquire into any unduly heavy expenditure under any head. So usual manner he has to vouch all the establishment expenses. But if in case there are any huge or heavy establishment expenses, then he has to find out the reason, he has to inquire for the same. See that increase in salaries of the staff have been sanctioned and minuted by the committee. That is, he has to check the minutes of the committee meeting, and if there is increase in salary, he has to check whether it has been sanctioned by the committee. Ascertain that the system of ordering, inspection on receipt, and issue of provision, foodstuff, clothing, and other equipment is efficient and all bills are duly authorized and passed before payment. Verify the inventories of furniture, stationery, clothing, provision, and all equipments, etc. These should be checked by reference to stock register and values applied to various items should be test checked. So he should check physically, verify all the inventories. He should find out whether they have been properly valued or not. Confirm that the refund of taxes deducted from income from investment, interest on securities, etc. has been claimed and recovered since institutions are generally exempted from payment of income tax. So if any amount is invested in securities and interest is received, dividend is received, and if tax has been deducted at source, it is to be duty of the auditor to check whether refund is claimed and recovered because educational institutions are exempted from payment of income tax. Verify the annual statement of accounts and while doing so, see that separate statement of account have been prepared as regards poor boys funds, games fund, hostel and provident fund of staff, etc. Now we'll see audit of hospitals. Following points are to be considered necessary for conducting an audit of hospital. Check the letter of appointment to ascertain the scope of responsibilities. Auditor should go through the letter of appointment so that he will know his responsibilities and the scope of audit, what he is supposed to carry out in his audit. Study the charter or trust deed under which the hospital has been set up and take a special note of provisions affecting the accounts. So he should study the trust deed and take a note of provisions affecting accounts. Examine, evaluate and verify the system of internal check and internal control and determine the nature, timing and extent of audit procedures. So depending upon adequacy of internal check and internal control system, auditor can determine the nature, timing and extent of his audit procedures. Vouch the entries in the patient's bill register with copies of bills issued. Test check the selected bills to see that these have been correctly prepared, taking into consideration the period of stay of each patient as recorded in the attendance schedule. So he should vouch the entries in the patient's bill registered with copies of bills issued. So he has to take various records to check whether billing has been done properly or not. Vouch the collection from patient with copies of bills and entries in bills register. Arrears of dues should be properly carried forward, and where these are deemed to be irrecoverable, they should be written off under due authorization. So if any dues are irrecoverable, it is to be written off as bad debts, but there should be proper authorization for the same. Interest and or dividend income should be vouched with reference to investment register and interest and dividend warrants. In case of legacies and donations which are received for specific purpose, it should be ensured that any income therefrom is not utilized for any other purpose. Normally, legacies are to be capitalized. It is shown on the liability side of the balance sheet. And if donations are for specific purpose, that is also to be capitalized, and it is to be checked whether the donation is used for the same purpose or not. Where receipt of subscription show a significant deviation from budgeted figures, it should be thoroughly inquired into and matter to be brought to the notice of trustees or the managing committee. So auditor should check the subscriptions received. He should check it with budgeted figures. If there are deviations, he should bring the matter to the notice of managing committee. Government grants or grant from local bodies should be verified with reference to correspondence with concerned authorities. Clear distinction should be made between item of capital and revenue nature. Capital expenditure should be incurred under proper authorization by valid resolution of trustees or managing committee. Verify the system of internal check as regards purchases and issue of stores, medicines, etc. Examine that the appointment of staff, payment of salaries are duly authorized. Physically verify the investments, fixed assets and inventories. Check that adequate depreciation has been provided on all the depreciable assets. So auditor should check whether grant received from government, local bodies has been properly accounted for. He should check it with reference to the correspondence. He has to check whether proper distinction has been made in capital and revenue, income and expenditure. For each and every capital expenditure, whether there is proper authorization from management committee. He has to check whether there is proper system of internal check and internal control as regards purchases and issues of stores and medicines. He should examine the appointment of staff, payment of their salaries, whether they are duly authorized. He should physically verify investment, inventories, and fixed assets. He should check whether depreciation method is consistently followed. What is the rate of depreciation? He should check actual calculations of depreciation on all the depreciable assets. In this particular video, we have seen audit of inventories, audit of fixed assets, audit of educational institutions, and audit of hospitals. Thank you.